Hi there and welcome. My name is Frances and this is your 60-minute therapeutic yoga class for the spine, hips, and shoulders. For today's class, I want you to leave here feeling relaxed, rejuvenated, and lighter. And what I mean by lighter is releasing that tightness you might be feeling in your muscles and bringing back that natural range of movement we have in our joints. So for today's practice, all you really need is your yoga mat, but you might decide to grab a set of blocks or a yoga strap, but you don't necessarily need that for the practice today. But if you would like that, just have it off to the side for later on. We're going to begin our practice on our back, so whenever you're ready, come join me. So once you come all the way down to your back, see how your lower back feels today. If you like, you can keep the knees bent. Maybe walk the feet a little wider and then allow the knees to fall in so you can relax through the hips. Another option is to extend the legs forward. And again, see what works best for your lower back today. And take a moment to settle in here. So let's take a deep inhale through the nose. Then exhale out through the mouth. Start to relax. Feel free to close your eyes. Let's start to move into a nice easy breath. In and out through the nose. Start to relax your mind by putting your day aside and connecting now to this present moment in time. If you like, you can keep your eyes closed, or you can open them. We're going to begin here as we gently warm up the hips. So as you draw right knee in towards chest, bring your right hand onto left knee and allow the hips and abdominals to relax here so the pelvis is heavy. We're going to be imagining here the head of the femur in the acetabulum. The hip joint creates a lot of range of movement, side to side, up and down, and circling around. So what we're going to do here is circle the head of the femur in the acetabulum. So we're going to be going clockwise around to start, just slow circles. Just discovering that range of movement in through your hip here, into that hip socket. Making no judgments with our bodies today, just enjoying the movement that we're able to do here today. Again, knowing how good we're going to feel after. Now let's switch direction and go the other way around. So if we're able to, making full circles here. Again, no need to rush. Feel free to slow it down. So allowing your hand to guide the movement around, keeping the hips relaxed. One more time around. And then you can lower your foot, the hammer release, and slide the right leg forward. We'll now draw left knee in towards chest. So having left hand onto left knee, and again, relax your lower body. Let's go clockwise again to start with. I'm just noticing how this side feels, if it feels any different than the other. We're bound to notice small differences from one side to another. It's only natural. But just notice if you feel any big differences from one side to another. And sometimes that can be if we're right or left dominant, or if we've had a past injury where maybe we were using one side more than the other. That can definitely have an effect on our strength and flexibility. Now let's switch direction and go counterclockwise around. And this is a great way just to gently warm up the hip joints and create that lubricant for the joints, that synovial fluid. And that's definitely something we want to create as we're warming up. So you can go one more time around. And then lower your foot and slide the leg forward. From here, let's bend both knees now and draw both knees into chest. We're going to hug the knees in and just simply rock side to side, massage your lower back. And as we bring ourselves up to a seated position, you can either roll towards me and press yourself up, or if you have a little more energy today, grab your hamstrings, draw your abdominals in, and roll yourself up. Now from here, we're going to bring ourselves to face towards me into a seated position with the legs crossed. So let's tuck the right leg in first and then the left. So we've warmed up the hips as we're going to continue to warm them up here, but we're also going to start to warm up the spine. So we're going to hold the knees for support and stay connected with your breath. So as you inhale, lift your heart up towards the ceiling, lift your chin. And then as you exhale, we're going to lean back now. So we're holding the knees, pelvis tilts back as we tuck chin in towards chest. So inhale, lengthen your spine, lift your heart and chin. And then exhale, leaning back, separating shoulder blades as you tuck chin in towards chest. Inhale, feel that opening through the front of your body. And then exhale, feeling that stretch through the back. You can continue here with your breath. And the next time you inhale, you can lengthen your spine, look towards me. And let's continue to bring that movement into the spine. What we're going to do now is bring our heart forward and we're going to take it over towards the right side, then back and around, over to the left side, and then coming forward. So we're circling around here. So you'll feel your pelvis tilt back as you roll back, and then you'll feel it come forward as your heart comes forward. So really getting the full spine involved here. And feel free if you like just to close your eyes throughout this movement. Really connect to your body. And sometimes closing the eyes help. Now once your heart comes forward towards the floor, let's switch direction and go other way around. It's good to, if we can, to get our body moving in different directions. Now once your heart comes down towards the floor, let's stay here. Bring those hands in front and relax your upper body forward. Yes, relax your arms and shoulders. Feel a bit of a deeper stretch now into your hips and lower back. As you lift your forehead and walk the hands back in, let's uncross the legs and cross them again. But this time we're going to tuck the left leg in first to start and then the right. Switching up to keep that balance. So what we do on one side today, we're going to do on the other. Let's bring our hands back to our knees. So on your inhale, lengthen your spine, lift your heart and chin. Then as you exhale, leaning back, rounding the spine, tucking chin all the way in towards chest. Inhale, lengthen your spine, lift your heart and chin. Exhale, leaning back, rounding the spine as you tuck the chin in. So once again, you can continue here with your breath and noticing how this movement is feeling for your back and spine today. Let's make sure that everything feels good and that we never do anything that feels painful. And next time you inhale, lengthen your spine, look towards me. As we continue to stretch through the spine, bringing your heart forward, and let's take it over now to the left side. Then we're going to take it down and around, over to the right side. So again, creating those circles here. And feel free again to close your eyes. If you can hear the music, hearing the beach, the sounds of the waves. Sounds so good. So at many points today, you might just want to close your eyes and enjoy the movement for your body and enjoy the music as well. Now, once your heart faces again towards the floor, let's switch and go the other way around. Once your heart faces towards the floor, let's bring those hands in front and relax forward. Find a nice comfortable stretch. And lift your forehead. Walk the hands back in. And from here, let's uncross the legs. We're going to bring ourselves now up to the hands and knees. So when you're ready, we're going to come up to the hands and knees and set up for a plank. So the hands can come right to the front of your mat. You can have them shoulder width apart and spread those fingers nice and wide. Draw your abdominals in, so pulling belly in towards spine, and then the chest comes forward, so shoulders over wrists. From kneeling plank, we'll then come to full plank as we curl the toes and lift the knees. From plank, let's come to downward dog as we push the buttocks back. Body makes a V shape. And we feel that first stretch into the calves and hamstrings. And at the end of your next exhalation, come up onto your toes, bend your knees, look between your hands, and step your feet through. Inhale, sweep the arms up, palms together. Exhale, mountain pose. Now we're going to continue to warm up our body, a little bit more active now as we move into our sun salutations. And we're going to be doing some Hindi squats in our sun salutations to help continue to warm up the hips and those surrounding muscles. So with a Hindi squat, you're going to take your feet as wide as your mat. And then from here, turning the toes out slightly. So once you ground through your feet, let's stand tall and proud. On your next inhale, sweep the arms up, palms together, and then exhale, sink down as low as you can into your Hindi squat. It might just be about halfway to start. Or if we feel a little more mobile in the hips, we can come a little further down. And then we're going to set our hands again for plank. Let's step back to plank and draw the abdominals in. To begin with, you can lower to knees. Exhale, chaturanga, similar to a tricep push-up. Elbows drawing tight as you come all the way down, uncurl toes. Inhale, cobra, squeeze the glutes, feel that baby back bend. If we're pregnant, you might decide to come into dog tilt instead. Now from here, let's curl the toes and push back into that downward dog. And for anyone that needs to see that dog tilt option, it's in a table position where we tilt the tailbone up, lift heart and chin. Right? So you can keep that in mind if you need an alternative to that cobra or even upward dog. Now at the end of your next exhalation, come up onto your toes, bend your knees, look between your hands, and step your feet through to your Hindi squat. Now the strength of our glutes, pushing through both feet. Inhale, sweep the arms up, palms together, and then exhale, sink back down into that Hindi squat. Let's set those hands for plank, either step or we have the option to hop back to plank. You can lower to knees or stay on the toes for more. Exhale, chaturanga. Come all the way down and curl toes. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Straighten the arms, open your heart, and engage the legs and lift the lower body. Now let's curl our toes into our mat and push back to downward dog. So here, tilting your tailbone up towards the ceiling and continue to push your buttocks back. And at the end of your next exhalation, come up onto your toes, bend your knees, look between your hands, and step your feet through to your Hindi squat. Inhale, sweep the arms up, palms together. Exhale, sink down into your Hindi squat. Let's set the hands for plank. Either step or hop back to plank, knees or toes, so nothing wrong if we need to go to the knees. Option this time, exhale, chaturanga, to take it halfway down and stay hovered on curl toes, lift the knees if they're down, and then inhale to upward dog. Let's curl our toes into our mat and push back to downward dog. So continue to spread those fingers wide, nod your chin in as you look between your knees. And at the end of your next exhalation, come up onto your toes, bend your knees, look between the hands, and step your feet through or hop to your Hindi squat. Inhale, sweep the arms up, palms together. Now this time, exhale, sink down halfway into your Hindi squat. Now as we sink down halfway this time, we're starting to load the legs. We're starting to really use the muscles of the quadriceps, the adductors, and the glutes, some big muscles here. So warming up those muscles, so enjoy some good stretching very soon. Now here, we lift the heart up and relax the shoulders down. Now let's sink all the way down into that Hindi squat. Set our hands for plank, either step or hop back to plank, knees or toes. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Now let's inhale, bend our knees and take right foot through into our lunge. So we set our lunge if we can, lower left knee down to your mat, uncurl the back toes, come up hands onto your thigh. We're going to be sinking the hips forward and be stretching open up the front of the hip the hip flexor. We're also going to add in a stretch for the front of the shoulders by taking the hands behind, interlace your fingers. Squeeze your shoulder blades together as you open your chest. The knuckles can press down as the arms lengthen. And if balance here will allow, you can lift your chin, stretch through your throat, and bring the cervical spine, your neck, into extension. Now let's look forward. You can release the fingers and set your hands for plank. Curl the back toes, lift the knee, take right leg back to plank, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Now let's inhale, bend our knees and take left foot through into lunge. And if you're able to, lower right knee down to your mat, uncurl the back toes, come up, hands onto your thigh. So as we sink the hips forward, that's where we start to pull and stretch into the hip flexor. That on the right side. Then we can take the hands behind, interlace the fingers, squeeze your shoulder blades together, open your heart, arms lengthen as the knuckles press down. If balance will allow, then you can lift your chin. Now let's look forward, release the fingers, set the hands for plank, curl your back toes, lift the knee, left leg comes back to plank, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward dog, exhale, downward dog. So you can start to acknowledge how the rest of your body's feeling today. Make sure to listen to your body. If you ever need to rest, you can sit back in a child's pose. At the end of your next exhalation, come up onto your toes, bend your knees, look between the hands, either step or hop the feet through into that Hindu squat. Inhale, sweep the arms up, palms together once again. Exhale, sink down halfway into that Hindu squat. So we call this a static hold. Holding here, building strength, getting very warm and toasty at this point. Now let's sink all the way down. Set our hands for plank, either step or hop back to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Then inhale, bend your knees, take right foot through into lunge. Set your lunge, lower your knee, uncurl your toes, come up, hands onto your thigh. Then we'll sink our hips forward to that hip flexor stretch. Take the hands behind, interlace the fingers, squeeze the shoulder blades together, press the knuckles down, and if you like, lift your chin. Then look forward, release the fingers, set the hands for plank, curl your toes, lift your knee, right leg comes back to plank, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Then inhale, bend your knees, take left foot through into lunge. Set your lunge, lower your knee, uncurl your toes, come up, hands onto your thigh. Then we'll sink our hips forward to that hip flexor stretch. Take the hands behind, interlace the fingers. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Press the knuckles down. If you like, lift your chin. Then look forward, release the fingers, set the hands for plank. Curl your toes, lift your knee, left leg back to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. And at the end of your next exhalation, come up onto your toes, bend the knees, look between the hands, either step or hop your feet through to your Hindi squat. Inhale, sweep the arms up, palms together. One more time. Exhale, sink down halfway into that Hindi squat. Yes. Still keep that balance even, that work evenly. If we can, into both hips here. And lift the heart. Find that good posture. Let's sink all the way down. Set your hands for plank, either step or hop back to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, bend your knees, take right foot through into lunge. Lower your knee, uncurl your toes, come up, hands to the thigh. Sink the hips forward. Take the hands behind. Open your chest. Lift your chin. Look forward, release the fingers, set the hands for plank, curl toes, lift knee, right leg back to plank, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, bend your knees, take left foot through into lunge, lower knee, uncurl toes, come up, hands to the thigh, sink the hips forward, hands behind, as we open our chest. Lift the chin. Look forward, release the fingers, set the hands for plank, curl toes, lift knee, left leg back to plank, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. So now, feeling nice and toasty, we're going to stretch a little deeper, holding our poses for a little bit longer. And let's begin with pigeon pose to stretch the outer hips and glutes. Here in downward dog, sweep your right leg up, flex your foot, look between your hands and bring your right knee forward and lower it down to your mat behind your right hand. So from here, you can lower your left knee and curl those back toes. And make those adjustments that might be needed here. Maybe we need to slide the left leg further back. A deeper stretch, you can inch your right foot forward towards the left hand and see if you can balance your body so we're not leaning all the way over to the right side. If this feels good, we feel no pain, feel a stretch, then we'll make our way down onto the forearms. And also adding the stretch for the shoulders. But this time, the sides of the shoulders, the shoulder caps. Take your right arm and stretch it forward, and take your left arm, palm faces up and slide it underneath the chest, reaching towards the right side. If we can, both arms are straight. If you're able to, your forehead can rest down to your neck. If we're not able to reach it all the way down, that's where you can use your yoga block and rest your forehead on top of that. That will allow you to relax your neck and shoulders. So here, feel that stretch into your right hip and left shoulder. Now you can lift your forehead, uncross the left arm, stretch it forward, and let's lower back down and relax. Continue to stretch in through that hip. As you lift your forehead, walk the hands back in, and set them for plank. We're going to curl the back toes, press your body up, take the right leg back to plank, and then push your buttocks back to downward dog. Let's loosen up through the hips and knees as we bicycle the legs. Bending one knee, then the other. So we press one heel down towards our mat, then the other. You can press both heels back down towards your mat. As we go to the other side, sweep now your left leg up, flex your foot, look between your hands and bring your left knee forward, lower it down to your mat behind left hand, then you can lower right knee, uncurl those back toes and make those adjustments. Again, it might be sliding the right leg further back or inching the left foot forward towards right hand. The further parallel it comes to the front of the mat, the deeper stretch you're giving your hips. So keep that in mind, but relax your lower body. Allow your body to receive the stretch. If we're so tense and we're clenching, resisting the stretch, that's what we do when we want to strengthen the muscles and tighten them up. But what we really want to do today is relax them and open them up. Now, if you're comfortable with this position, come down onto the forearms and let's stretch the other shoulder. So left arm now stretches forward, right arm palm faces up, slides underneath the chest as you reach towards the left side. Then from here, you can lower your forehead back down to your mat or block. Feel that stretch now into your left hip and right shoulder. Lift your forehead, uncross the right arm, stretch it forward, then lower back down and relax. Keep relaxing those muscles surrounding the hip. Use that breath every time you exhale. See if you can relax a little bit more. Let's lift your forehead. Walk the hands back in, set them for plank. Curl your back toes as you press up. Take left leg back to plank. And then push the buttocks back to that downward dog. And once again here, we're going to bicycle the legs, bending one knee, then the other. And let's press both heels back down to our mat. And for our next pose, it's a shoulder stretch. Coming into puppy pose, also known as melting heart. Let's all lower our knees down to our mat and uncurl our toes. So for this pose, it's a very deep stretch, I find, for the shoulders. So if you've ever had a shoulder injury, dislocation of the shoulder, a frozen shoulder, I would probably recommend not coming into this particular pose, and instead you can come to the pose that we came into earlier of opening the chest as so, all right, if you're comfortable with that. Now, if you're joining me in melting heart, or known as puppy pose, we're going to be coming to the hands and knees. You're going to have your knees right over your hips, so hip width apart. And then from here, we're going to tilt our tailbone up towards the ceiling. So this pose also works into the flexibility of the spine, the cervical lumbar spine as we bring it into extension. So from here, you're going to slide those hands all the way to the front of your mat, all the way forward. You're going to continue to have the buttocks over the hips, tilting tailbone up, and from here, pressing your chest down towards the floor, keeping the arms straight. Now again, this can be a bit of an intense one. Sometimes, depending on everyone's shoulders, it can be a little bit different. Not everyone's joints or bones are exactly identical. They are different. So for some, we might need to take the hands a little wider apart, especially if we have wider shoulders. So they might be as wide as your mat. So make those adjustments for your body. And if you're feeling a stretch in your shoulders, you're definitely doing it right. Now, if you are in melting heart and puppy pose, we're going to release. I like to push firmly through the hands, lifting the arms and chest back up, and then taking my time, walking the hands in, and bring yourself to sitting onto the heels. Now, feel free to give a few rolls to the shoulders. Again, that might have been a very deep stretch. At least in my classes, we don't practice that one very often, and I'm not sure why, because it really is a good stretch and good for posture. You might already feel a better opening. Now, we're going to stay sitting onto the heels. If you like, you can turn your face though towards me. And if this position doesn't work for your knees or your feet, we don't want to force it. But if the stretch is too strong or if you feel pain, you can always come back to sitting with the legs crossed, or maybe even sitting up on a yoga block or two. Now let's lift our heart in that newfound good posture here. And now we're going to be stretching in through the back of the shoulders, across the upper back into the shoulder blades. So coming into eagle arms, we're going to begin with cactus arms. And as the arms come in, bring your right upper arm over the left, crossing as tight as you're able to. You're able to wrap it around, hands come together, and continue to sit tall. If you need a deeper stretch, lift your elbows up. Lower your elbows, unravel arms, roll the shoulders, and let's go to the other side, back into cactus, and let's bring now the left upper arm over the right, crossing as tight as you're able to, and then if you're able to, wrap it around, hands together, and as you sit tall, deeper stretch, go ahead and lift the elbows. Let's lower the elbows, unravel arms, roll those shoulders. All right. We're going to stretch through the inner hips and into the groin and come into frog pose. You might decide to join me for more cushion for the knees by folding the ends of your mat. Just about a foot on each end, not too much, because we will be taking those knees open wide. Another option, if you're at home, you can bring pillows at the ends if you have some thin pillows, or you can use blankets. And remember, since this is the video, you can always pause it, take a moment, grab what you need, and then come join me. So once you got everything you need, and if you're joining me here with just folding the ends of your mat, come up to the knees and take them open wide so they're on that extra cushion or extra padded part of your mat. And you're gonna spread those knees open as wide as you're able to, which for some of us, we might be getting right off the kneecap and getting closer into the inner part of our knees and thighs. If you're able to, you can flex the feet, having the toes face out. So once you set the lower body, you can then make your way down onto the forearms. And here, if we're able to, a neutral pelvis and spine is most ideal for posture. So we would want to try to avoid rounding the back, especially if we sit most of the day. We're probably spending a lot of time rounding the back, so let's find that neutral pelvis and spine here. And you probably already feel a stretch, but if you need more, push your hands, forearms, and elbows, and just slide your tailbone back. But if you're in the correct position, you should be able to slide that very far. Or maybe you didn't even move at all. So this is a great pose to stretch in through the inner hips and thighs. Sometimes a wide leg, standing bend or seated bend can be great as well, but that also stretches the hamstrings. So if the hamstrings are really tight, it's really hard to get into this inner thigh and groin stretch. So here we take out the work and the stretch for the hamstrings and just really focusing the inner hips and groin. Now as we release from this, just sliding yourself a bit further ahead, slide your feet in, push your hips back, and then walk your hands in. From here, we're going to bring those knees back in. You can unfold the ends of your mats, remove those pillows, and bring yourself again, sitting onto the heels. If this still isn't working, then come back, maybe again just sitting with the legs crossed. Let's sit up straight. And feel free to have your hands into your lap. We're going to move into some stretching here for the neck, into the cervical part of the spine. So feel free to close your eyes. We'll begin as we tilt right ear to right shoulder, and you'll feel that stretch along the left side of your neck. Now let's tilt left ear to left shoulder, as you'll feel that stretch along the right side of your neck. And let's bring our head back to center. You can nod your chin down, feeling that stretch through the back of your neck. It might feel good to take this into half moon neck rolls, slowly rolling the head down and around to the right side, and then down and around to the left side. Just slow circles here. And if you come across the area that's just feeling really tight, feel free to hold there. Once again, nodding the chin down towards chest. And let's lift the chin, stretch through the throat. And you can bring your head back to center. Let's rotate our head now to the right. And rotate your head to the left. And then you can bring your head back to center. When ready, you can open your eyes. And we're now going to get off our feet. We can slide the legs forward. Now I'm going to stay forward here because I want to face you, but feel free if you like. If you want your legs on your mat, you can turn your face towards the side. So from here, we're going to come right up to the sitting bones, legs straight, feet flexed. Coming into a seated twist, we're going to take the right leg, cross it over, foot into our mat. We're going to grab the shin and sit up tall. Now for pregnant, you might decide just to stay here or coming into an open twist instead, keeping room and space for your baby. For a closed twist, right hand comes behind. You can either hug the knee in or cross the arm over. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Through the waist, upper back and neck. Stretch your eyes, look over your shoulder. So here, bringing rotation into the spine, stretching through the back. And as you look forward, arms can release and in twist. Let's take this into half lotus. Bend your left knee. So we have that right foot onto left thigh. If this is a little much of a stretch for the hips, then sit with the legs crossed instead. So we sit tall. Let's continue to stretch through the spine in a side bend. So right hand down to the floor, left arm up right up alongside your ear. Reach out through the fingers. Feel a nice stretch into your lat, oblique, side of the body. If you want more, slide the hand further up, keeping the sitting bones grounded, keeping your heart lifted. If you even want to look up to the ceiling, do whatever feels good. And as you look forward, we're going to come back up and bow forward, hands in front. That deeper stretch for the hips, lower back, lumbar spine. Feel free to continue forward as you relax your upper body. Then you can lift your forehead, walk the hands back in. From here, across the legs, slide them forward. Coming to a seated forward bend. Reposition up to the sitting bones, legs straight, feet flexed. Now your choice, if you like, you can use a yoga strap. You can have that around the soles of your feet, or just keep it really restorative, just arms alongside the legs. Pregnancy option, take your legs wider apart, give space again to your baby, or babies maybe. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, coming forward. Again, you decide what works best for you. Feeling that stretch through the back side of your body. Bringing that flexion into the spine. Now you can lift your forehead. Hands or strap releases as we come back up and sit tall. Spinal twist. Other side this time. So take your left leg, cross it over, put it into your mat. Hold the shins, sit tall. You know your options here. So we can hug the knee in or cross the arm over, and that left hand comes behind for support. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, twist. Through the waist, upper back and neck. Stretch your eyes, look over your shoulder. And as you look forward, arms can release and twist to that half lotus. Bend your right knee. And then have that left foot onto thigh or sitting with the legs crossed. Sit tall. And let's come to that side bend. Left hand to your side, right arm up alongside your ear, reaching as you feel that stretch. We need more, sliding the hand further out to the side, keeping your heart open, maybe looking up to the ceiling. As you look forward, come back up, release the arm down. We bow forward, hands in front. Feeling that stretching to the lower body. If you need more, continue forward. Lift your forehead, walk the hands back in, uncross the legs, slide them forward, seated forward bend, reposition up to the sitting bones, legs straight, feet flexed, lift your heart as you inhale, and then exhale, come forward. Again, restorative, just arms alongside the legs, nice and heavy, or active, hands or strap around the soles of your feet. And inhale, lift your heart, and then exhale, forehead towards toes. Lift your forehead, hands or strap releases as we come back up and sit tall. All right, we're going to move into some inversions right now. So this is where we sort of flip our body upside down. The intention of these inversions today is to increase the flexibility of the spine. So stretching out those muscles that might be tight so we can restore that range of movement. So we're going to begin with plow, bringing flexion to the spine. pregnancy option, you don't want to be flipping your body at this time upside down. So feel free to stay with your wide leg seated bend, or maybe come back to where we started with that seated position of rounding the spine and arching the spine, right? But it's your body. Do whatever you feel you need right now. Now, if you're joining me with Plow, you will want to face side on if you haven't, or if you're not there already. We're going to begin with some rocks to prepare the spine. This will give a nice massage to the back as well. And if you like just to stay with the rocks, you can do that as well. Now, when your spine feels ready for Plow, you're going to be taking the hands, holding on to the back of your rib cage. Here, supporting yourself and being safe. So very important that we don't turn our head to the side. So you're going to keep the back of your head into your mat. And here we're really closing in. So we relax, breathe softly, greater flexibility. You might be here with the legs over your head with the toes touching down. We might not though if we're just starting out. So if they are touching down today, options to walk the feet a bit wider apart, bending your knees down towards your ears, which if you have long legs, or maybe you're used to practicing Plow on a regular basis, your knees might be able to touch down. Another option is that you can take the arms and hug the back of the knees in. So you can take whatever variation feels most beneficial for you. So we feel that stretch right across the upper back. If you're hugging the knees in, hands come back to the rib cage, straighten out the knees and walk the feet back in together. In Plow, we're going to engage the abdominals, bring the arms to your sides, hands into your mat. Using that strength and support, we're going to slowly roll it down. And once you come down, go ahead, bend your knees. You can hug the knees in and rock side to side. Massage your lower back. And what we're going to do now is reverse the stretch and bring extension into the spine. So with two options, bridge or wheel, we can start with bridge and just see how that feels. So we're going to have our feet hip width apart, ankles in line with knees, toes point straight ahead. You can have your arms at your sides. Squeeze your glutes, twist your feet and lift your pelvis all the way up towards the ceiling. Then from here, we slide the arms in, interlace the fingers, arms are straight, just like the warm-up, and then wiggle ourselves right up to the upper arms and shoulders so the upper back is up off your mat. And then from there, lifting up higher, so another stretch for the shoulders and hips. So if you're at your edge with this back bend, this extension, then stay here. The other option is wheel, or a deeper back bend. For wheel, you can come down from your bridge and set your hands into your mat alongside ears with the elbows facing up. So the hands and feet are firmly grounded. From here, squeezing your glutes again. You can push your hands and feet. Start if needed, coming to the top of your hand, and when you're ready, pushing all the way up into that full wheel. You can even stretch your throat and look down between your hands. Now when you do come down from wheel, no rush. You're going to tuck your chin in and lower your back and head down. Just make sure that you're lowering safely. And if you're still in bridge, you can release your fingers now and tuck the upper arms and shoulders and slowly roll it down. And when you come down, just draw those knees into chest, hug them in, and rock side to side. Now coming into a spinal twist. And lower your feet down to your mat and slide the legs forward. From here, draw right knee into chest. Left hand grabs a hold of right outer thigh, and that right arm can open out wide. Palm gazes up to the ceiling. And you can cross the knee over the body, twisting through the spine. You continue to twist. You can turn your gaze, look towards your right fingertips. And now in this spinal twist, we feel that full support of the ground, finding more relaxation. You can bring your head back to center. Bring the knee back up and then twist. Hand can release, lower your foot and slide the arm and leg down. And now let's draw left knee into chest. Right hand grabs a hold of left outer thigh. That left arm opens out wide. And then you can cross the knee over the body, twisting through the spine. Turn your gaze as you look towards your left fingertips. And you can bring your head back to center. Bring the knee back up and then twist. Hand can release, lower your foot. You can slide that arm and leg down. Now here, let's bend our knees and walk the heels as close as we can in towards buttocks. To reclining butterfly, allow the knees to part open, soles of your feet come together. And arms can always open out into cactus. If we find that's a little much, then just keep them straight. And feel that support of the ground. Arms and legs heavy. Noticing how the hip joints and shoulder joints are feeling here. If we're noticing maybe small changes, different sensation, a stretch. bring your knees back together. Slide our legs forward now, a bit further apart. You can slide your arms down to your sides, inch your shoulders down from your ears. The palms gaze up towards the ceiling. If you're pregnant, you can bring yourself onto your left side into a fetal position. Moving now into your Shavasana, relaxation and meditation. So when ready, you can close your eyes. Soften your eyelids. And relax your jaw. Lips gently seal. Tongue resting gently on the palate of your mouth. Soften all the muscles of your face. And start to scan your body. From the tips of your toes all the way out through the crown of your head. Noticing areas you're still holding on to, and finally letting go. And allow your mind to relax. Any thoughts you're still holding on to, put them aside. Focus on your breath. As you allow now your mind and body to experience complete relaxation. And for any healing that needs to take place, to happy now. Begin to deepen your breath. slowly waking your body as you wiggle your fingers and toes. If you like, you can slowly rock your head from side to side. Even a gentle massage to the back of your head, releasing any last stiffness through the neck. As your head comes back to center, in your time you can slowly draw your knees in towards your chest. Plug your knees into your heart. Give yourself a great big hug for taking the time to honor your mind, body, and spirit. Keeping your eyes closed, you can roll towards me into a fetal position. And again, in your time, you can slowly press yourself up to sitting. We can cross our legs. Hands on knees, palms gaze up. Lengthen your spine, allow your heart to lift. And acknowledge the change within your mind and body. Feeling calm and relaxed. Relieve the stiffness and tension. And with a deep inhale, sweep your arms above your head, bring palms together. And as you exhale, draw them down to your heart center. Divine in me honors the divine in you. May there be peace in your heart and the world around you. Namaste. And thank you so much for joining me here today, for allowing me to guide you through your yoga practice. And I hope you're feeling relaxed, rejuvenated, and feeling more free. And if you are, that's wonderful. You can come back to this video anytime you need this again. And enjoy this feeling for the rest of the day. It is quite lovely, isn't it? So again, thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you back here soon. Take care.